Yes, everybody, welcome to episode 2 Rags to Riches podcast. Today we've got a special guest, Justin. Thanks for coming, bro.
You say, bro, no worries.
If you're into your cars, you like your flashy cars, you want it to keep clean, you obviously know who this guy is already. He's pretty much dominated most of the UK for people coming out, cleaning your cars, stuff like that. We're going to hear Justin's story. Justin's a long-time friend of mine, known each other for a very long time. We were even born on the same day, weren't we?
3rd of June.
Well, not the exact same day, but we've got the same birthday.
3rd of June, Gemini babies.
Why are you giving out a day of birth? People can GDPR now, innit?
It's all right.
Next thing you know, bank accounts hacked.
As many people on the 3rd of June, man.
Overdraft's done.
You know.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, where you are now, and then we'll go back to the beginning.
So where we're at now, to be honest, is we've transitioned quite a bit. Mm-hmm. When we first started in the detailing space, the focus was more on how to get the car looking as shiny as it needs to be, the quality of, you know, the ceramic coatings and all those things that are out there. Whereas now, we've transitioned in understanding who our core customers are. So now we're more like a management company. We look after...
So you're more about the business?
More about the business. We look after wealthy individuals. Yeah. Saves them a lot of time. We noticed that the trend with most people is they don't have time. So,
and you've got staff now, haven't you?
Yeah, we've got a few members of staff. You know, we try to... We've transitioned a lot in terms of how we deliver our information. So, you know, when we first started on socials, everything was social media heavy in terms of what the business is doing day to day, who's in the business, who's not in the business. Now, today, you don't see that type of thing on social media, but behind closed doors, we're still operating as we was before. We've got a team running behind, you know, we've got people doing the admin, we've got people doing the accountants, we've got people doing the sales, so it's very, what's the word I'm looking for? It's something that we're very proud of, to be honest.
Now let's go right the way to the beginning, because obviously this is all about rags to riches. Not saying that you had to have come from rags, but obviously you didn't have what you've got today.
No.
Back then, where did it start? There was no silver spoons, there was no handouts. I know that. I know there was blood, sweat and tears.
How far back?
Take us back to, you finished school.
So when I was younger, I used to play football.
Yeah. You good?
Used to play at a decent level. I let the football do the talking. Used to play at a decent level.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes when you're young and have a dream of doing things, you don't see the world going in any other direction but what you think is your dream. So I used to play football at a good level. Unfortunately, didn't get the opportunity to make it as a professional. So when I left school, the question was what I'm going to do. Now, my parents had 2 different jobs. One was more corporate and the other one was more manual handling. My dad worked in manufacturing, but with vehicles. Hence the love of cars. So when I left school and college, I decided to secure my future by having a job. So my job was in the automotive space. So I started off in cars and was fortunate enough to understand how they built, the quality of paint and all the other things, which led us to Artisan.
That's the first job you went into?
Yeah, so the first full-time permanent job that I went to was cars. I had little jobs in between, paper rounds, working at like sports jobs, so a bit of sales background. Yeah. But the first serious job was, automotive.
Yeah. Yeah, so you're in automotive, so now you're running a business. So how did you go from a pretty much labour-intensive, no disrespect, but not really need to use your brain, a kind of like panel beating style thing, to now you've got a company that's known nationally, and you've got staff, you've got a whole operation?
So the noticeable thing was there was an event that happened, because obviously I like football. I used to always pay attention to what was going on in the football world while I was working in the manufacturing world. There's an event that happened where a footballer died on the pitch. And when he died on the pitch, the news put the information out on the front page of the newspapers. And it just didn't sit right with me. I don't know what it was. I didn't like how they portrayed the information. So because I didn't like it, I thought, okay, I'm not going to read the newspaper again. It's a bit irrational, to be honest, when you think about it. I was like, I'm not going to read the newspaper again. I'm going to do something else. So because I had so much time, I started to watch a lot of YouTube. And I don't know how it happened, but I came across something which triggered me to think differently. And it was the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. Yeah. So when I came across Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I invested my time listening to it, everything changed. My whole paradigm changed. The whole way I was looking at the world and how it was hard. And what you discovered,
did it go against how you'd been brought up?
Yeah, 100%. Because I think the information I had when I was growing up wasn't wrong information. It was information designed to protect me, but that information...
Or what was right with that generation, how they...
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I don't think that information, it resonated with me as much as it probably did with them. So even though I was doing the things that they said, something in my core wasn't sitting right. So obviously then when I come across this new information, it was like the penny dropped, like this is what I've been looking for. This is the thing that I've been trying to fulfill inside, you know what I mean? And obviously once you come across information, well, me personally, when I hear something that I understand, it's very difficult to then live my life in a different way.
And is that when you thought, right, I want to have my own business?
Well, yeah, it was. And it was simply based on, if we just want to be bluntly honest, is finances. How am I going to make more money? I was in a well-paid job, but I knew that the more I traded my time for the money, the less I was going to be able to do, because it's finite, you know what I mean?
And you took a big plunge, didn't you? I remember when you first started your own business, it was a franchise, wasn't it?
So how that came about is, once I was aware of, for example, the tax benefits of owning your own company to not, then there was no way of doing it but owning my own company. Prior to obviously the franchise, I started my own business. That was a smart repair and valeting company. That was in 2014.
Was that Everydent, yeah?
Yeah, that was Everydent, yeah. Obviously the name says it all, innit? Everydent we could do, and obviously the valeting and stuff. So that business was started based on the information. And I used to do that while I worked in employment. So I used to do valeting and obviously work at the manufacturing company. I used to do 3 shifts, so mornings, afternoons and nights, and then do the valeting. And then obviously slowly but surely we started to, you know, build up a bit of a customer base by doing it on the weekends. Yeah. And then obviously then we lead into the franchise.
I remember that then you were chasing recurring revenue, weren't you?
Yeah, so it's crazy when you think about it, because like now...
Because isn't that what your business has gone back to now?
Like now, that's like a key point in the business. Obviously then, we had the idea of doing it just because of sustainability, but didn't actually understand how to do it. Yeah. You know, didn't understand the patterns that you need to look for, who it actually needs to be advertised to, and all those things. So yeah, so in 2014 we tried to start a recurring income business, something that it would allow you to leave full-time employment and know that you've got money coming in.
And it failed.
And it failed. Yeah. Miserably. It wasn't as easy as I thought it was going to be. I thought it was literally going to be, this is how much we're going to offer you to do this every month, and people are going to sign up. But as you know now,
it doesn't work that way.
It doesn't work that way.
It brings back memories. I remember when you first started out in business, came and picked me up in the van, got this new van, all done out and everything. What did we do? We went out knocking doors, didn't we?
So this is on the franchise bit, so yeah. So we skipped a step. So that business was built, Instagram started to pick up traction. I've come across a franchise that was doing valeting all over, but it's actually down south. Yeah. And me being inquisitive, asked them where they got their tent from, because I thought, oh, that's something that I can do to make my service better. I'll get a tent, put the tent up if it's raining, and then, you know. Yeah. So when I had a conversation with the company about the tent, then we got into, oh, we're expanding to the Midlands. Is this something you'd be interested in? And ironically, I was listening to a guy called Ty Lopez, and I actually bought his course, again, mindset and development. I bought his mindset and development course, and on day 15 of the course, he said, you need a mentor. Most people try and do things without a mentor. Yeah. So when I heard that, I thought, And then ironically, this company says, oh, we're going to franchise. Do you want to? And I thought, well, franchise, mentor, it all lines up, you know. Yeah. So we had the conversation. I took the plunge.
So you saw this company as your mentor.
I saw this company as my mentor and my way to leave work full time with the support system that allows me to have a better chance of succeeding. So I invested £25,000 in this franchise.
How did you get that £25,000?
I got a loan from the bank.
Yeah.
So phoned up Halifax, because I had good credit working, obviously full-time employment. Went on to, no, I didn't even phone up, went online banking, applied for a £25,000 loan, said I was using the money to buy something, like a car or something, I can't remember what it was. Yeah. Got the £25,000 from Halifax, transferred that into my bank account, transferred the money over to the franchise. Once the money was transferred over, it's done, handed in my notice, bam, jumped out, no customers, no nothing, just the van, equipment, and the belief that it's going to work.
And we knocked doors that first day you got the van?
Got the van, went and knocked doors, Sutton Coldfield. Yeah, I remember it. People was looking through the window like, who's this? People saying no, you know. And then, yeah, fortunately kept going and going and going. And
then how comes you didn't, what happened there? You just, it wasn't the right path for you, or did you not get the support, or it just didn't work out?
In terms of leaving the franchise?
Yeah, because you've got your own company now, your own brand.
So what I found in that scenario is being in a franchise was definitely the best thing because there was a support group. But there was some things that didn't work well. So what happened is I fortunately know a lot of people. So even though I left without thinking about the people I know, once I got into a situation where I was like, what options do I have? I realised actually the best way to grow anything is use your network.
Yeah.
So I started to use people that I know to help me get more work and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I realised that I was actually outgrowing the franchise. Like I was doing more than the franchise was supporting me. So then, like, you know, like any business owner starts thinking about costs, margins, you know, where's the expenses going? Could I make this more efficient? So I realised that this isn't.
So do you think the fact that there was a business there saying we're an established business, buy a franchise, gave you that comfort 100%. To think, well, I can't fail, I'm all good, I'm going to go in organs blazing.
100%.
And then when you realise that actually it's all you, and you left the franchise behind, is that what made you have the shift to say, do you know what, I can do this without the franchise? Definitely,
but I think it wasn't just based on the model, it was based on the actual franchise wasn't doing what they was supposed to do.
In terms of training you?
Yeah, because I think, like, obviously there's always going to be a point where somebody, you know, can go on their own.
But was it training you in terms of doing the job or training you in terms of running a business?
Running the business. Doing
Two
the job.
different things, isn't it?
Doing the job, I already had the experience. I've been in manufacturing for, I think it was 6 years at that point. So from how to do the basics of cleaning a car and whatnot, you know, a lot of people, what I find now, because I also do training, a lot of people fail on only wanting to learn how to do the application. Whereas business doesn't work like that. It's more about, how do I understand my customer? Do I understand marketing? Do I understand sales? Do I understand margin? Do I understand accounting? It's not just, can I clean a car? You know what I mean? So what they was failing on was teaching me how to build the business.
Yeah.
And that's where I needed to go separate ways.
Yeah. And then you started Artisan Automotive, which was your own company. What do you do? Just transfer pretty much all of the customers that you'd built up and just carry on under your own brand and grow it from there?
Some customers stayed with the franchise and then some transitioned with us. It wasn't easy. There was, you know, the company that I left was trying to hack into the Instagram accounts and, you know, get customers and do all sorts
car wash wars,
all sorts of things. Obviously, at the time, the decision wasn't, I'm going to start Artisan and, you know, I'm going to make 25 grand tomorrow. So the 25 grand investment was gone, you know. So effectively starting Artisan from negative £25,000.
Yeah. And you failed again, didn't you?
Yeah. In what way?
Was it smooth sailing from there, or did you have...
man, nah. You know what it is, like when you've been going through it for such a long period of time, you don't even remember the ups and downs, but you know, you become resilient and you realise this is business. Anyone I speak to, you know, some of the clients who have now become friends have told me the same stories. But yeah, over the years, there's been so much things that have you know, gone against you. Van getting stolen, you know, products being robbed, like... Unreliable staff, not knowing if I could pay my mortgage, moving out of my house, putting my house up for sale, living at my in-laws, like loads of things. But, you know, you just keep persisting.
It seems to be a recurring theme. We had somebody on the show in the previous episode who, again, everything was against them, but the only thing that kept them going was persistence. Just kept moving forward. I know that's something that you're good at. Do you think that comes from the football?
I think so. I think everything in life always goes back to the mindset. It's not about the application of what you're doing, it's about the way you think about the thing you're doing. So what I've tended to do over the years is, if I'm going through something that's a bit traumatic or a bit difficult, think about my character as if I was to play football. So there's times when I play football, it's pre-season, you've got to do, you know, 10K, and I wouldn't want to do it, I'd hate it. But then my brain would be like, but you can do it. So I'd force myself to do the things I don't like. So then I just correlate that to business. So when business isn't going well, same thing, like you can do it. It's all in your head. Like it may not be going well in your reality, but what are you going to do about it? Are you going to sink or swim? Like there's no, let me just go.
So would you say today's Justin, Artisan Automotive, the company now, you've got financial freedom?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah? Well, of course you have. It's a weekday. It's 11:30 you're here.
Yeah, exactly.
You do what you want.
But I think that's a mental choice that you learn over the years. You know, it's not even about the position that the business is in now, the financial position or whatnot. Even though that is obviously a factor in order for me to be here.
And do you think if you were able to learn everything that you've learned from day one, stop watching the news, go start your own business, to where you are now, because it's been a long time, and you knew all of those problems that you were going to have. Obviously, you had a solution while you've moved forward. If you knew all of that, do you now
Be 10 years ahead.
You'd be 10 years ahead of where
100%. It goes back to what I said about the mentor thing. You need somebody who's got some life experience, who's done the thing that you want to do, teaching you how to do it. It's impossible any other way. Yes, you can do it yourself, but it's just going to take you a long time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And what's the future then for Artisan? Artisan Automotive.
Sell the company.
Sell the company.
Yeah, that's the end game. It wasn't to start with, but again, learning from some of the people I'm around, some of the experiences that they've had, some of the reasons why. It's not even about. It's more about passing the baton on somebody else so the legacy can continue.
And then what would you do then?
Diversify, go into other things, training, helping people who want to get into the space. You know, teaching people. You know, bit of coaching. Still doing things in line with this business, but again, I think there comes a point where you can only take it so far, and not to say that I'm at that point yet, but it's just understanding.
But that's one of your goals.
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
So leaving a labour-intensive job to then go into, obviously running your own business, it's very much sales, marketing, and understanding that you got to go and get your bread, never mind your butter. How did you learn all that? What was next? Where did you get those skills from?
Well, again, support network. So fortunately, knowing you, he was in a sales role, sales environment. And when I worked at Jaguar Land Rover, I was on the agency. That's how I got in the door. So then it came a point where they laid off all the agency. So I was left with a house and a mortgage and like, how am I going to pay my bills? So obviously me offloading to you about my situation, you was like, why don't you come and work with me? I've got an opportunity here. You can do some sales, even though I had no background in it, you know. But fortunately, sales is an environment that you don't need experience. You gain it by doing the job.
Yep.
So I went into a sales role with you and then learned the fundamentals of selling. And then that then correlated back into when I went back into
your business.
Into my business, yeah.
Yeah. And then you spoke a lot about mentoring, mindset, support network and stuff like that. Not blowing my own trumpet or anything, but would you say that having access to the exclusiveness of Levelution at the time took you through and got you to keep building and growing? Yeah,
definitely. What's ironic is obviously where we are today, we didn't see ourselves in the past.
Yeah.
You know, but when you think about it, all the conversations that we've had over the past years have been from the things that you've learnt in your life and I've learnt in my life. So if I didn't have the exposure to the way you thought about things or the experiences you had, then I wouldn't be able to, you know. So even if you don't remember or think at the time that you was mentoring me, that's what you was doing. You know, some of the things about why you're thinking like this, you need to do that. I wouldn't be where I am if I didn't have that influence, so 100%.
So then, obviously, working sales with me and doing all that, would you say that that gave you the confidence to then actually go and start your own business?
Yeah, definitely. Because I had some principles that I could fall back on.
Yeah.
So, you know, like if I didn't have that, you know, and I got stuck, where would I go?
Would you say that's why it was so natural for us when you started that? I was just excited for you starting your own business, so what did? We went and knocked doors. Now, most people, that would be a daunting thing, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's true. But again, going back to the information that I had prior to doing that, I knew that this had to be done. There's a process.
Yeah.
It's not just, most people are scared of doing things because they don't know why they're doing it.
Yep.
So when you do things like the information that you gave me, you know, like the courses that you've taught me for the years, I now understand why. And now because I understand the why, I'm not so scared about doing it because I know the reason. Yeah. So knocking the door isn't now, I'm worried about the person that's going to say no. Now I know, all right, you've got to go through a number of no's before you get to the yes. Yeah. So now it's not just follow the process, just knock the doors until you get enough no's till you get to the yes. Then there's less emotion connected to the no's.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And you know, for anybody out there wanting to start their own valeting company, because I bet you must get a lot of people look up to you in the space.
fortunately.
What advice would you give to them? Because they're probably going to be watching this video.
The first thing I would say is start with personal development. So fortunately now, because you are actually opening up the type of information that you gave me to the world, my advice would be sign up to Levelution. Just because I know David and I know the work and effort that he's put into it, I would say sign up to Levelution, because the first thing you need to do is understand how to think correctly. And then once you get that, then apply it to the things that you want to do. Mm-hmm. Don't do the other way around. Don't start the business and then think, okay, maybe I'll do some mindset stuff. Not the first thing is, am I thinking about this the right way? Do I believe in myself? Do I have the confidence to go through the rough patches? And with a support network and people who are also in that space thinking the same way, it'll be a lot easier for you to go and pursue your careers and dreams.
And you said that you want to get into a bit of teaching and coaching and stuff. Is that industry specific?
It's not specifically, but it again, because of mindset is very broad. But yes, if you are looking to get into the valeting and detailing space specifically, then not to say that I'm the best person, but I can at least give you the years of experience that I've had.
And how can they contact you? Just slide in the old DMs.
That's it. Slide in the DMs or go onto our website or artisanautomotive.co.uk. Artisan Automotive, the same everywhere: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Just slide us a message and say, look, this is what I want to do. Can you guide me? And then we've got an ebook, so most of the questions you're going to ask is already been put in the ebook anyway. That's years of experience of the things that we've overcome, how we did it, why we did it, what you need
to do. Is the ebook, people can buy that now?
Yeah, you can buy that now, yeah. If you go
Can we put that link in the bio or something, yeah?
Yeah, if you go onto Instagram or you go onto the website, you can buy the ebook. And then, that will get you off the floor and start rolling down the hill, hopefully.
Well, thanks for coming.
No problem.
Been good to have you on.
Thank you.
Remember, guys, if you are going to join the Levelution, just use code one time. What that does, it wipes your enrollment fee, so you can just go ahead and start training straight away. Thanks for watching, everybody. Please make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that notification thing just to make sure you don't miss an episode. See you on the next one.